folks? How you doing? Kunal here. Bulls on Wall Street got a nasty open in the stock market. As you can see here, we're opening down like 4 points on the S&P. The NASDAQ is getting smoked, down 4 points on the NASDAQ. You can see here, if you're looking at, the futures market, we're going to be down maybe about 400 points, give or take, which is pretty impressive in terms of the volatility. It looked like we were going to run a little bit. People had been waiting in the market to see what the government's response was to potentially the coronavirus coming in to the United States. And the Trumpster came in and said, hey guys, okay, this is not going to be a big deal. I'm going to put Pence in charge. Okay, he's a fantastic person. Okay, he might be a science denier, but he knows his stuff, okay? And so, the Trumps would put the Pence in charge. I don't think, it looks like the reaction has not been, well. I don't know. I don't know anything really about Mike Pence, and, government stuff's not really my thing. I just like to do the impersonation, but the reaction is amazing. So seriously, but Mike Pence, I saw some of the Twitter guys like, hey guys, it's nothing to fear. Mike Pence is in charge. And so you get all this kind of reaction. So what I want to talk to you guys about is like, where can we go? Man, like at this point, because we dropped under the 50 and we're at the lower Bollinger Band, like we have some room to go. We could fall down over here, maybe even down to the 200 SMA over time. That would be really, that would be another 8%, though. That'd be hard to do. This is kind of how I'm looking to look at this. We're starting to get oversold, but this virus thing is not going to be like a one-off thing where it's like all of a sudden you get like some cure. Like in the past, we've had like really sharp pullbacks in the market, and we get rid of them. Like not get rid of them, but you know what I mean? Like we do like V-shaped bounces from them because they're like kind of like, one-off things. Now, this is going to be something that lingers around. It's like a news headline, not an economic headline. And so we're going to get some like fits and starts in the market. So, my plan on any big weakness, because we're at the lower Bollinger Band and we're oversold, any big weakness, I'm going to look to try to, catch some longs in the market via a handful of ETFs like TQQ. This one's getting pretty close to 200 SMA. So one big flush, I'm going to look to try to get some long, but it's not something I'm marrying. Like I'm not going to be adding. Normally when I see something like this, I add a bunch of swing trades too, to play for like that kind of V-shaped bounce back into highs. I think this one may meander a little bit. So this is going to be more very short-term trades, but I think that we're starting to get into those phases because the panic is starting to set in. That's what you need to see to get a bottom. You need the panic to set in, and you also need to start hitting some levels of support. So I got like kind of 80 marked out on the QQQs. And we're already getting close to there, our TQQ. Same thing on the SPY. Like we're almost at the 200 SMA. So that's where I think, we may get a little bit of a bounce because you can see here, this 200 SMA has been holding up pretty well. Now, is that like the end all be all of the bounce? No, but anytime the markets get like really ugly, there is usually what we call like a gypsy do dunkaroo, meaning like it looks nasty and then poof, the jets turn on, and like 2 days later you're like, what the heck? How did I miss this? And then like 2 weeks later you're like, man, I should have loaded up on this one and this one. And so I think there are some plays like shop and stuff that are starting to look really juicy. Like this thing was at $600. It's come back into like the 450s. I think there's some nice plays like that on a longer term basis that we could start looking at. Like this Apple, I think has got more room to fall, but I think some of these like shop and you're going to have some good entries on them. And, we want to start to look at that. There's two things to measure like overbought, oversold. There's different ways to do it, but I think that, when you're looking at the general indexes, You know, you can use like stochastics or RSI, but you know, the biggest thing is, you know, of course, you want to also look at price, use a little bit of common sense and start to map out some levels. And then when you start to get those levels, start looking at shorter term time frames to do potential entries. One thing to just be mentioning to you guys, don't step in front of the bus. You know, don't step in front of the bus, meaning like you just load the boat too early. You know, you start to kind of leg into these things, and that's when you're going to have yourself, a nice action. Big thing is when you get a big gap, when you want to long something in terms of the market, you want the big gap down. And then you want to watch and see if the gap down comes in and fills and goes red to green. That'll be your signal that the game is on. So that's what I'm looking for today, guys. Be safe, and hey, check for some links. I've got a webinar coming up next week. We're going to be talking about how we're trading all these news plays and stuff like that. You're starting to see, like, right, all these coronavirus plays and stuff go bonkers. Like, how are we trading this market? I'm going to go into detail and just give you some nice pointers on how to really like make money during these type of times. Like, we've been having a lot of fun in our chat room. You guys are more than welcome to join us in our Discord. Take care.